How's it going, everyone? We are back with another weekly watch list. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I'm not sure if you've seen the other ones, but I do post a weekly watch list. It's the only thing I post every single Sunday. So thank you so much for checking them out. Feel free to watch other ones. This is my third year of trading, so this really helps me just prepare for the week, learn, and I love doing it. It's fun. So thank you for joining along. So let's get into it. We're recovering SPY, QQQ, IWM, SPX, ES, and NQ. So let's get into the chart. So obviously, we've been moving quite on down, had a little bit of a pop-up. Bears got a hold of that real quick. We created some daily supply in this area, so we'll be watching that as well if we do move back up. We'll be curious to see if we get some sort of move here. Say price opens up Monday and we set a higher low and then move to a higher high up to these fibs. It'd be interesting to see. Maybe retest this daily supply, or the Bears stay in control. We break the 61 fib that we already bounced. If that is the case, I will mark out the 70 and 78 fib. But man, just heading over to the weekly chart, it does not look great. This is the weekly fib 61, so I would expect the 78 to hold as the last line of defense. But it looks like the next target price will be down here to 539, 540. So yeah, we will see what happens there. Let's take it down to 15-minute, right? First thing I'll be looking at is the previous day high, previous day low. Up in the previous day high, I also have this 45-minute and 3-hour supply zone. So this looks really nice for a reject. Below the previous day low, my next support is that 549 zone and the 61 fib. And below that, we have a lot of room down to that 539. So if I go over to the 4-hour here, right? Actually, let me zoom out. Actually, let me go back to the daily. There's a lot of room down. So, is price likely to have some sort of bounce along the way rather than straight down to 539? Possibly, but I don't know. I mean, if you look over here, look to the left, there's really nothing stopping it under the 61 fib to go down another $10. So, we'll see maybe whole psych numbers down here at 545 and then 540, but that's kind of where we're looking at, right? So let's go over to ES. That's going to be my game plan for this week. Oops, wrong symbol. Get out of here. I don't even know what that is. If you know what that is, comment down below. Okay, so looking at ES on the daily, same thing. We've now created this daily supply. Away from my levels to load in here. So we've created new daily supply. All right, on futures, I just chart supply and demand. We've got all types of supply up here. But really, next whole psych number 5,600. So be curious to see what happens there. But below that, the next demand I have is this down here, this 4-hour demand where we already bounced previously around this 5,500. So that's really where I'm going to be looking at. Be my next target under 5,600. I don't have any other demand until 5,500. So let's go over to QQQ. Oh my goodness, did I do it again? Okay, QQQ. Obviously very similar look, starting on the 15-minute, previous day high, previous day low. Have this 3-hour supply zone up here as well. Under, looking up there for a reject. I know there's all this move up here, so if we do start to move up, I would consider, getting out the fib tool, the old fib tool, and seeing where, based off this move here, I'd chart the fibs here, 50, 61. Same thing with just this candle here. It was obviously a very big move, so we could come up and retrace to the 50 and 61. So if that does start to happen, I will use that. But taking a look at the weekly chart, same thing. We bounced the 61. This was a 61 somewhere up here, I believe. Actually, let me pull it back up. Let's see, 61 was here, so we did already bounce that. So underneath that 61, since we already have broken it, I do have the 70 and 78 fib marked out. Same thing, down here. Under this 465, the next area of bounce is going to be down here at 451. I mean, that's a huge gap. So we have this possible 4-hour pivot I've marked here at 459, and also this 458 is the 70 fib. So I will look for any sort of bounces there, but I imagine we'll create some sort of new low I can use as a new daily low in here on the way down, because I don't expect price to move $14. It could, I just don't expect that. So that's what we'll be watching on QQQ, right? So I could do something like this. If we do start moving back up, I will go from the previous day high, right? I'll even take it up here from that pre-market. If we do start moving up, looking for a reject somewhere in that 475 area, then lines up with those fibs. There's all kinds of fair value gaps in here. You have the fibs. So I could see some sort of rejection happening other than just climbing straight back up to the previous high at 480, which has happened in the past, so I wouldn't count it out. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at on QQQ. We'll go over to NQ. Obviously going to look very, very similar. Supply and demand. We do have a 3-hour supply zone up here, so if price does come back up here, I'll be watching for a reject. As far as demand goes, though, next demand is going to be down here at this 4-hour that we already bounced of once. So if we break below this 4-hour, I do have 19,000 marked out as a whole psych number. But underneath that, my next level, which isn't even a demand level, is 18,548. And then down here at 18,341. And these are just simply 4-hour pivots. So here and here, mark that out on the chart. So that's what I'll be looking at. And then lastly is IWM. I mentioned this in recent videos. I'm not trading IWM anymore, but I do mark the levels every single day just to keep up with it in case I do come back. But previous day high, previous day low. Above that, above the previous day high, next zone 206, and above that 208. Below the previous day low, though, same thing. Next zones is big zone we already tested down here in 196.54. Below that 195.33, and then we also have this fib as well on the daily, or is it the weekly? I think it's the weekly, maybe the weekly or the monthly. Weekly, from this swing low to this swing high, pretty big area. This 61, if it gets tested and we get daily confirmation, I would look to maybe add a swing position there. So anyways, that's what I will be watching. Everything. Again, as far as SPX goes, sometimes I'll show the levels in here, sometimes I don't, just because all I do is mark the daily high and low, and it's worked really, really well. We did have this giant bear flag that we broke out of on the hourly. Under the previous day low, my next area is going to be this gap here at 55.47, 55.50 area. We have the 61 fib we already bounced off as well. Below that, we have this. My next area is going to be 5,500. Under 5,500, there's nothing on the chart for me personally until 5,400, which we bounced last. So that's going to be it on SPX. If we do move higher over the previous day high, we have up to 5,700 and another previous day high up here at 57.32. And then above that, we're heading up towards 5,800. So that's everything I'll be watching this week. I will only be trading Monday and Tuesday, possibly Thursday, but that is it. I'll be traveling for a wedding up to Philadelphia. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider leaving a comment, dropping a like, sharing the video. It would mean the absolute world to me. But I'm wishing you all a great week inside, outside of the market, and I'll see you next Sunday in the next watch list. Peace.